Hey y'all, this video is called What is Dissociation? And I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the definitions, some perspectives, some of the recovery from that. I also have a piece of paper that I'm going to read off of, and it will help me curate this video. So the first thing is, what is dissociation? So dissociation is a disruption in the usually integrated functions of consciousness, memory, identity, or the perception of environment. And a couple examples is, like, for example, the sense of self disappears for identity. So like a disruption in identity, a disruption in the perception of environment. A good example of that would be a presentation of derealization. I won't get too into that, but derealization is sort of when the person feels like their world around them is unreal or disconnected from environment. Let's dive a little bit more into analogies. So an analogy that I love to use is, it's kind of like the mind and body are in two different channels. So the body's physically there, but the mind has sort of stepped back or floated away somewhere, somewhere up there. Some spiritual people say the soul leaving the body is dissociation. Another analogy that I like using is imagining that there's a big house with all the lights on, but there's nobody home. That's another interesting example, and it just feels, it just feels like the person's not there. And now let me talk a little bit about my experience. So to me, dissociation sort of feels like I'm just not present. I'm just not fully here. When I do experience it, it almost feels like life's happening in another part of my mind. I'm going to move into a little bit of recovery. So I know recovery from dissociation for a lot of people isn't in a single moment. It's considered more of a journey because it's a very strong learned programming that takes time to sort of master. And so I'll be honest, I have mastered the art of not being present, which isn't a bad thing though, because I have a lot of contrast. And to be a master at something, you need to have contrast. So for example, I could potentially be somebody who is very present if I worked on that. A little bit about recovery. So again, it's not in a single moment. It's usually, so for my own lived experience, it's more of like, what's helped me most is therapy, and having the therapy in a sequence of, so first stabilization, which is creating inner safety, lots of grounding, orienting, I used a lot of somatic therapy for this. Could be like looking around at certain colors that I really like, or 5 things I can see, 4 things I can feel. So the first is stabilization, that's the sequence number 1. Second is trauma exploration, of course, with a therapist, professional, feeling grounded and enough calm in the nervous system to be able to process old memories, to be able to flip those memories into, present moment. And the last thing is integration. And so it's stabilization, trauma exploration, and then integration. And integration is simply just allowing in the new perspectives to sink in, the building of sense of self, allowing time, space, relaxation, meditation, and things like that. I hope that answers the question for what is dissociation. So the bottom line is, what I want to leave you with is, if you experience dissociation, it's actually a really normal and healthy response to overwhelming circumstances. It's safe to have that experience. It's safe to feel dissociation. It's safe to feel the disconnection and the numbness. About 50 to 75% of the population of the world will experience dissociation at least one time. And between 1 to 2% of the population of the world will experience some sort of disorder or diagnosis, which isn't a big deal. It's something to bring in a lot of awareness, a lot of consciousness, and honestly, a lot of self-compassion and a lot of love. You are safe.